all political stakeholders and Nigerians to continue to rally around INEC at this trying national moment in our democratic journey. The President says, I therefore appeal to all Nigerians to refrain from all civil disorder and remain peaceful, patriotic, and united.
And similarly, wife of the President, Aisha Muhammad Buhari, has called on Nigerians, especially women and youth, to continue to remain peaceful and law-abiding citizens despite the inconveniences the postponement of the general elections by the INEC must have cost to them. Mrs. Buhari stated this at the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, while speaking to NTA State House correspondent Aliu Kabir shortly after her arrival from Daura following the one-week postponement of the general elections by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Mrs. Buhari has urged them not to be discouraged in the exercise in order to avoid political apathy for the future of the country.
They should not be discouraged at all. Definitely they should not be demoralized, because this is not the first time they are postponing elections in Nigeria.
Mrs. Buhari, who has returned to Abuja while unable to cast her vote due to the recent development, called on Nigerian electorates to remain calm and to be confident in their belief and aspirations towards building a better Nigeria. The All Progressives Congress, APC, has described the postponement of the presidential and National Assembly elections as sad. David Ire, who had an interaction with the national chairman of the party, Comrade Adamso Shomole, reports that he is appealing to Nigerians not to lose hope in the commission.
Primary school would have been a beehive of activities at this time if the election was holding. It is Unit 1 of Ward 9 where the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Comrade Adams Oshomole, is actually supposed to vote.
I am not really shocked. I am disappointed. I am disgusted. And I think my party members are totally frustrated because nobody have any inkling that this election was not going to go on. And as you can see from my compound, we spent the past couple of days, mobilizing our agents, our supervisors, everybody that we are expected to put at the various polling booths to make sure that they get there on time and that they have everything they need to be able to carry out their function. And this involves a huge logistic cost. The political parties should behave responsibly. In unison, we should condemn in the strongest term possible this rude shock that INEC has subjected Nigerians to.
The electorates who have relocated from their places of work to their polling areas, no doubt will not spare INEC for this failure. But Nigerians will have to bear and hope that the Commission lives up to its responsibility.
Look at the foreign observers who have traveled, who have budgeted their time, they have booked their tickets, and so on, who are in Nigeria. They are not here at our okay. Government is not paying them, at least the serious ones. What do you tell them? I appeal to Nigerians to insist that this election takes place, to insist that it is free and fair.
The Presidential and National Assembly election will now hold next Saturday, the 23rd of February, in Uzaire, Edo State. David Ire, NTA.
In a related development, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has reacted to the postponement of the February 16th presidential election by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, few hours before the commencement of the polls. The party's National Publicity Secretary and Director, Media and Publicity of the Presidential Campaign Organization, Kola Olobondia, at a media briefing in Abuja, says the party rejects the sudden decision. Timothy Yusuf reports that some other political parties, however, say that the development is good for the nation's democracy.
The PDP says it stands with the party's supporters and urged them to stand together in the overall interest of the nation.
The PDP directs all our members and supporters to remain calm and encourage one another at this critical time. We all must stand together in preparation for next Saturday.
Meanwhile, the presidential candidate of the Advanced People's Democratic Alliance, Shitu Muhammad Kabir, has described the postponement of the election as part of INEC's efforts towards the delivery of credible polls.
We want to urge Nigerians to be patient, to be patriotic, and take Nigerians first in their decision. And we should take this as a game, because it has happened before.
Similarly, the Center for Transparency, Advocacy and Election Observer Group has cautioned desperate politicians not to stand against the nation's electoral process, as INEC means well for the nation.
We will continue to preach for free, credible elections. We will continue to preach for the integrity of the electoral umpire, and we will continue to support the process that will help Nigeria make it better.
They are all of the opinion that the postponement is aimed at avoiding staggered elections in the country. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NT News.
Let's now join some of our correspondents earlier on the field. And Doris Olumo brought this reaction from Kiribo Ese Odo local government area of Ondo State, where the presidential candidate of African Action Congress, Omoyele Sowore, was to cast his ballot.
We are here in Kiribo, one of the rural communities in Ese Odo local government area of Ondo State. This is actually the domain of one of the presidential candidates in the Nigeria's election, talking about Mr. Omoyele Sowore, the presidential candidate of the African Action Congress.
It's disappointment. I'm very disappointed that they took them 4 years to plan for this election, and 6 hours before the elections were supposed to hold, and everybody is already very prepared for the election. They postponed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sowore. I also have another politician here, is of the PDP. Mr. Henry, what do you think are the implications of the postponement of this election?
Well, the implications are quite enormous, in the sense that if you look at the whole community or even entire the country, you will see that a lot of people have mobilized to the community, to their various areas of polling units. And all of them have come with their resources to ensure that they cast their vote for a person or a candidate of their choice. But you can see what has happened. It's disappointment everywhere. Everybody is not happy.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Henry, and that is it from here in Ikiribo in Ese, the local government area of Ondo State.
Thank you, Doris. Now, the presidential candidate of the Fresh Party, Pastor Chris Okotie, also reacted to the postponement and advised Nigerians to take advantage of the 1 week to make a difference on the process.
Reverend Chris Okotie is one of the presidential candidates bearing the flag of the Fresh Party. Postponement of this presidential election, how did you receive it?
Well, here's what I'd say. I'll say that hope deferred makes the heart sick. That's what the Bible says. But we can turn this around and take advantage of the time that it has provided, so that we can supplicate God further to intervene in this process so that it can take into its logical conclusion. Whatever has caused this incapacity must be dealt with promptitude, so that it does not create credibility issues, and then to encourage Nigerians to demonstrate a certain resilience and tenacity at this time, because this is important.
All right, you're still watching the news at 7 on NTA International. We'll take a break. More news when we return. Do stay with us.
NTA International News, Africa as it is.
All right, so glad to have you back. Postponement of the 2019 presidential and national assembly elections makes it the third consecutive time that general elections have been shifted, all in a bid to deliver fair and credible elections. Here is a review of the cancellation of general elections since 1999. Since the advent of the Fourth Republic in Nigeria about 20 years ago, 5 general elections have been conducted, with improvements being noticed and acknowledged. Presidential and governorship elections held in Nigeria in February 1999. These elections ushered in the first democratically elected president since the 1983 military coup. In compliance with Nigeria's constitution, elections were held in April 12th for the State and National Assembly, while the presidential and governorship election were held a week later. 4 years later, in 2007, hitch-free elections were conducted, signifying a first civilian-to-civilian transition. The 2011 elections were the first to be rescheduled when the then chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Atahiru Jega, postponed the elections by 2 days after challenges encountered midway into the process in some parts of the country. Late deployment of electoral materials in many parts of the country, among others, was the reason for the cancellation. In 2015, INEC again moved the elections due to security concerns following the declaration that security cannot be guaranteed. The postponement of the 2019 general elections, few hours to the time, the umpire says, was a hard but necessary decision in the best interests of the nation.
Of the implementation of its logistics and operational plan and the determination to conduct free, fair and credible elections, the Commission came to the conclusion that proceeding with the election as scheduled is no longer feasible.
As expected, reactions have continued to trail the decision, but Nigerians have agreed that having a free, fair and credible election supersedes the issues as the country strives to perfect their democracy. Meanwhile, eligible voters this Saturday woke up to the reality of the postponement of the presidential and national assembly elections. The electoral umpire attributed the development to logistics challenge. In this report, Dele Atumbi takes a look at the legal perspective of the shift in election dates.
The Independent National Electoral Commission is one of the 14 federal bodies established under Section 153 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Section 158 of the same Constitution also guarantees its independence from any interference. Hence, INEC is the body saddled with the conduct of elections in Nigeria. As a legal entity, the Commission is guided by the laws of the land. Section 26 of the Electoral Act envisages a shift in an election date and provides grounds for INEC to postpone elections. By this section of the Act, the Independent National Electoral Commission is empowered to postpone the date of elections based on envisaged breach of peace, insecurity and disaster.
Yeah, under the Electoral Act, I think Section 26, the Commission has the powers to postpone elections. But the postponement must be within the range allowed by the Constitution. The Constitution has prescribed the minimum number of days to the swearing in that election must take place. So it will be unconstitutional if the postponement is going to breach that provision.
In jurisprudential view, it's quite clear that the INEC has come under other exigencies to postpone these elections in keeping with the law, with the rule of law.
Undoubtedly, INEC has the powers to shift elections, postpone elections, and fix dates for elections within the parameters and ambit of the law.
The legal practitioners appealed to Nigerians to cooperate with INEC to deliver a credible, free and fair elections.
I think the law should be tinkered with to allow INEC to prepare its own budget and submit it directly to the Parliament. It need not be going through the executive because it's supposed to be independent.
Nigerians should cooperate with INEC.
Let's engage, let's encourage INEC, let's support INEC. The end product is free, credible elections.
Observers say what is important is the unity of the country, with citizens being given the opportunity to perform their civic responsibility. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
All right, thank you, Dele, for that report. Now, residents of the Federal Capital Territory have joined other Nigerians in expressing their feelings following the postponement of the presidential and other elections scheduled for Saturday, February 16th. Debola Brooklyn-Sunday is on standby with that package.
The shift in the date of the 2019 general elections came as a surprise to many Nigerians, as most of them were already asleep before the news broke. As they woke up this morning, most of them have to visit the newspaper stand to get the truth or get the facts as a result of fake news. Adamu, a commercial motorcyclist, did not believe the fact that the 2019 general elections was postponed, and he said he has to come to the newspaper stand and get a copy of a national daily so that he can read for himself. Adamu, can you tell me your observations or your take after getting a copy of the newspaper?
I'm really not happy with this situation. People have traveled, so we are expecting people to come back so that we'll be getting more passengers. So the way it will affect our business, the people will spend more at home before coming back.
Uche Okafo, a businessman, is one of the Nigerians who have reacted to this postponement.
I'm not happy about the postponement because, like yesterday is Friday. We always buy things to sell, but because of the election, I now leave everything.
I like the way the INEC postponed the election because people will complain because of Jos and the other side that there is fire. And we tell them if we vote, then those sides did not vote, there will be a problem.
My take is that INEC should try as much as they can to make this, to make Nigerian election be electronic. In every election, everybody can go and cast your vote wherever you are.
At the end of the day, what matters is this project Nigeria. In some states like in Anambra, they burnt an INEC office. Some people are already disenfranchised. If he needs some time to make sure that people will not be disenfranchised, that they will exercise their civic duties by voting, that they will participate, why not? I mean, everybody needs to be part of this process. So what's the essence of rushing to have an election and at the end of the day, it will now be deemed not to be credible? I mean, let's give them that time that they need.
All right. Thank you very much, Madam. Observers believe that February 16 or 23, March 2nd or 9th, what should be of top priority is the credibility of the election.
All right, thank you so much, Debola Brooklyn-Sunday, with the hope that Nigerians will take very necessary actions. Now, Nigerians have been asked to accept the reasons advanced by INEC for rescheduling the 2019 general elections as they keep faith in the Commission's promise to conduct free and fair elections. This is the position of Arewa Consultative Forum and some Kaduna residents. Abdullahi Muhammad reports.
Ahmad Bello Kaduna, devoid of the usual hustle and bustle. Businesses remain closed. Some residents are, however, out on the street, reading headlines on newspapers and debating on the postponement of the election.
We are not happy for postponing this election.
And for the INEC official to say maybe this thing is being cancelled, there must have been something they've seen behind it. We Nigerians should listen and be patient, irrespective of it. This is just 1 week they gave to us. We should wait the 23rd of this month, then everything, the needful will be done. You heard from him also we know that it is all about opinion, and they have said it all. Now we will move away from here. We're going to talk to some other people who also, add their voices to exactly how they feel about the postponement of the election.
ACF appreciates the concern raised by INEC regarding its logistics preparations and its constitutional power to reschedule the elections for the express purpose of ensuring credibility. However, though ACF is not privy to the nature of the challenges and the time INEC noticed them, the forum thinks that the shift should have been done earlier in order to reduce cost and inconveniences to all the parties concerned.
Considering the fact that most Nigerians are still struggling to come to terms with the postponement of the election, the fact has been established that Nigerians are still, eager to cast their vote for whoever that they have chosen to cast that vote for. In Kaduna, Abdullah Muhammad, NTN News.
Thank you, Abdullahi. And that wraps up our news at 7 of NTA International. Many thanks for your time. I'm Shimobi Walter Naji.
Abuja, Nigeria's federal capital city, nestles within gently rolling hills. It is landmarked by modern architecture, greenery, parks, and broad waterways. It is a city that's fast becoming the preferred destination point for tourism, meetings, and conferences in West Africa.